Welcome to the third episode of And the Podcast Goes To, an award season podcast from ScreenCrush.com. I'm Erin Whitney, senior editor at ScreenCrush, coming at you from New York City.
And I'm Britt Hayes, associate editor with ScreenCrush, coming to you from Austin, Texas.
So the Golden Globes were just this week. What was your reaction, Britt?
TBH, to be honest, I only watched like the first hour and then I just sort of looked up the winners after. I think
Oh yeah, you cheated.
I did. I totally cheated. Golden Globes are silly awards, which I think we've talked about. They're just like they're the wacky uncle of the awards season. So I don't really feel like I need to watch them all the time. The Oscars matter a lot more to me, even though they probably shouldn't. But I think I sort of just mentally checked out when Jimmy Fallon did his like black voice. That I was like, I think I'm done here.
That was bad. That was so bad. The Cuba Gooding Jr. thing that he was trying to do.
Was it Cuba?
I think so. I think it was like about thanking OJ and some joke that like the Emmys already did, but he was trying to do it again.
Oh no, wait, he impersonated Chris Rock.
Oh man.
It was really bad. I know some people were like really annoyed with, I guess, like the opening song and dance number. I wasn't. I thought it was like, I mean, it's not like the greatest thing I've ever seen, but it was like cute enough. Did you like it?
It was okay. I mean, it was expected. I thought they would, if they're going to do anything, it's going to be La La Land because that's like the easiest movie to spoof. And it was kind of a cute and clever way to tie in all of the nominees. Like the cameos were fun, like Jon Snow waking up and, like Nicole Kidman and just random people. So that was kind of fun. But it honestly kind of felt like an intro that you'd see at like the MTV Movie Awards and not something that you'd see at the Golden Globes. Like it didn't have that prestige that I think the Golden Globes likes to think that it has, and it felt a little more like silly and I don't know, mindless.
I don't know, like who comes up with these things? Like, is it some like shadowy cabal of like failed producers or maybe not producers? I mean, I'm sure they have successful producers producing the show, but like, you know, people who like couldn't really cut it in, you know, making like a musical movie or something. I don't know, like choreographers maybe. I feel like anything I say right now, I'm probably just going to insult somebody. So,
well, apparently, I think I have to like double check this, but I'm pretty sure that the La La Land choreographer is the one that did the opening.
Right, Mandy Moore.
Right,
not
that Mandy Moore, but
not that Mandy Moore.
Which would have been fun, like if Mandy Moore popped up and did like, I don't know, a throwback song. I don't know. I'd be down.
Like I'm Missing You Like Candy.
Yeah.
Would watch. I'm actually like I was kind of okay with it too because I guess I'm one of the people who's really into Barb from Stranger Things, and I know it's become like stupid to like Barb, but I like from the moment Barb first showed up on Stranger Things, I was like, oh, this is like me from the 80s. Like this is literally me back in time.
Yeah. And it was kind of great. Like you see Barb and you're like, okay, like they're pandering to Barb fans, but I'll take it. Like it's Barb.
Yeah.
And then like the Stranger Things kids rapping, like immediately I was like, how long until this is trending on Facebook? Like this video is probably already on YouTube. You know, like it's all like very like typical viral stuff, but you know, I liked it too.
Yeah, it was fine. It was okay. Jimmy Fallon was Jimmy Fallon.
Which is just so boring.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like what, like bland white dude. And I know like somebody in our comments is going to be mad because I said bland white dude, but like whatever, he is. He's like, he's safe, you know, he's like likable enough by a certain contingency of people, I guess. I'm sure moms really like him, you know, the ones that stay up late enough to watch his show. I don't know. I mean, he's a safe pick. I would have preferred someone a little edgier, but maybe they were afraid of creating too much controversy at a time when things are already kind of crummy.
Maybe. I mean, or at least get people that know how to turn controversy into actual humor. Like, I would love to see Kristen Wiig and Steve Carell host, like just after their bit this year, like make them the host next year because they're so awkward and funny, but then they can turn sort of like weird darkness into humor in a way that's not like too controversial and too playful.
I agree. I think like my favorite awards host ever might be Jon Stewart at the Oscars. Because he was so perfect. He was funny. He was sharp. He had really good self-awareness about how like just silly the whole thing was. And he had probably like the best joke ever with 3 6 Mafia 1, Martin Scorsese 0. Uh, he was great, and it's just too bad that he doesn't want to do that. But I mean, I think we should find someone like that who has like the whole package.
Right. Or just bring back Amy and Tina again.
Ugh, God,
Like,
I
they're
know.
just the
I miss
best.
them. They were so good. They made me feel safe.
Yeah.
So the winners, who let's talk about the
Let's
winners.
do it. So what were
Um,
you most surprised about?
I don't know. I guess I'm not very surprised by La La Land.
Yeah.
That was predictable. Pleasantly surprised that Isabelle Huppert won for Elle. That's
Yeah.
really great and might be the only award she gets this season.
I think so, sadly.
I know. I mean, well, not like this season, but like between this and the Oscars, like she
Mhm.
might not get the Oscar, and I
Yeah.
think that I'm gonna have to make my peace with that.
Yeah. I definitely wasn't expecting it. I mean, we had a post prepped and I had written, the stuff for Natalie Portman and we had to fix it last minute. It was like the one surprise where we had to like change it last minute really. But no, it was such a pleasant surprise. And out of any like wacky choice, I definitely thought if anything, the Hollywood Foreign Press would maybe go with Amy Adams or something, or just go with the more typical Natalie Portman, but or the more typical choice of Natalie Portman. But it was so cool to see them actually give Elle Best Actress and Best Foreign Film.
Yeah, it was weird because I briefly was on Twitter for a moment, I think, around the time that happened, and I just saw that, like, Natalie Portman didn't win for Jackie, and that's like all I saw.
Hmm.
And I was like, who the hell beat Natalie Portman? And I had forgotten that Isabelle Huppert was nominated.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, oh, okay, well, like that's okay. Like you can beat Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
But only you, no one else.
No one else.
God, who else? I mean, yeah, like La La Land like swept everything. I was a little surprised that Ryan Gosling won for Best Actor because I think of that group, Colin Farrell should have gotten it.
Yeah. And that would
Colin
have been a
Farrell,
choice.
who, by the way, looked like really bored for most of this show.
Yeah. He's like, why am I here? This is
He looked bored when Meryl Streep was talking, and I was a little offended.
Yeah, I actually thought that maybe Hugh Grant was going to get it because Florence Foster Jenkins is such a movie that like the Hollywood Foreign Press would love, and that just seemed like a weird choice. But Gosling was like sort of I mean, I think he could possibly take the Oscar if it wasn't for Casey Affleck or Denzel Washington. But yeah, Colin Farrell would have been awesome. I mean, it was a surprise to see him nominated in this category anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm longtime Ryan Gosling fan since like childhood. Breaker High, that's what's up. And so I love him, and I think like his time as a meme has like sort of gone now. Like we're not really hey girling all over the internet anymore, but I still really love him, and I still think he makes some really interesting choices. I think that he's really good in the movie. I like him as much as like Emma Stone is just charming and she takes like kind of a role that's almost nothing and makes it into something more substantial. Like he's really the meat of that movie.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I think he deserves to be nominated. I'm happy that he won. I'm happy that more people will hopefully discover his weird band that released one CD. But yeah, I don't know. I know his speech was really nice too.
Yeah, it was.
I really liked that. I already saw. Did you see? What was it? The Independent published
Yeah.
something like calling him out or like
Being
basically like,
sexist or
how
something.
dare you make your wife sit at home with the kids and take care of her sick brother while you go out and make a movie? Like, how sexist is that? And it's just like, I highly doubt Ryan Gosling is a jerk. He just doesn't seem like a jerk. Like anyone who loves Disneyland that much cannot be a monster.
And even if he is, like, he called out his wife and, like, gave her a shout out. That's not a sexist comment.
And there was something classy about it. He didn't even say her name.
Right, yeah.
He didn't have to be like my famous wife. He just was just like my lady. And I was like, that is really classy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. A hot take that was too hot in the wrong direction.
Yes. Zootopia winning for Best Motion Picture Animated. I'm a little surprised by that because I really do like Zootopia a lot. I like it a lot more than Moana. But Kubo and the Two Strings is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
How
Yeah.
does that not win?
I mean, Kubo deserves it, but Zootopia seems like that audience pleaser with, like, an important message that the Golden Globes wants to get behind and say, like, yes, we support this kind of a thing.
Yeah, true. What other big surprises were there?
Of course, Aaron Taylor-Johnson.
Oh, God, yeah. The first award of the night.
Yeah.
What the
I
hell
almost,
was
like,
that?
threw my computer across the room and was like, I'm going home. Screw this.
Yeah, I'm done. I don't need to see anymore. If Jimmy Fallon's black voice did not convince you to stop watching, like that should have. I don't know. I mean, I found it kind of funny because I was just thinking like, well, this is just like a nice little charity award because like Aaron Taylor Johnson is just like never going to get nominated for like anything ever again. I mean, I guess he might get nominated, but he's never going to win a prestigious award in his lifetime. I don't know. He could surprise me when he's like 80. Who knows? But does anyone actually love him that much? It's so weird to me. I feel
I
like
don't
every
know.
time his name is mentioned, all I see are people like talking about how horrible he is.
I mean, I don't know anyone that really likes him, but especially when he beats out Mahershala Ali, it's like, no, dude, sorry. You would have to be like spectacular. And still, I don't even want you to win. Like, that was
I
the one
mean,
thing that, like, out of everything that Moonlight was nominated for, besides Best Picture Drama, Best Supporting Actor was, like, the thing that I was like, that's going to win. Like, Mahershala Ali's going to take it. Like, the Hollywood Foreign Press can't screw this one up. But the love for Nocturnal Animals here, and even with the BAFTAs, I do not. I know you like it more than I do, but I don't understand how it's getting so many nominations.
it's a little strange to me. I mean, I can see the attraction though for, I guess, awards groups.
Hmm.
Maybe like there is something very attractive about it. Maybe it's very elegantly designed. There is
Hmm.
something very subtle about it. It is, I mean, it has actors that everyone loves that are really great actors, except for Aaron Taylor Johnson. I don't know, but like also of all the people to nominate from that movie, him?
Exactly. Yeah. Like
I
Michael
mean,
Shannon, Jake
his best scene
Gyllenhaal.
is like sitting on a toilet.
Yeah. He literally, yeah.
That was just bizarre. Yeah, I don't know, baffled. I guess, maybe they can start that every year. They'll have like one charity award.
Yeah. I guess if it's charity, I don't know. I think it's just poor taste, but we can call it charity. What about, let's see. There weren't any other surprises really in the film categories. What about TV?
The Crown for best drama.
Oh,
I guess I
yeah.
should watch it.
I saw the pilot and I liked it, but I didn't continue. But I could see why they would want to win it. Like, I think I mentioned this before that the Hollywood Foreign Press loves to just get behind a new TV show. Like last year it was Mozart in the Jungle, and everyone was like, what the hell is this show? And, I think Gina Rodriguez win one year too, and that was like
Oh
the
yeah.
first year of Jane the Virgin. So they love to like get behind something new and like give it a platform. But if anything, I thought that would be Stranger Things or Westworld this year.
Stranger Things would have been like the wacky winner.
Uh huh.
Westworld seemed like the safe bet.
Hmm.
This Is Us seems like the basic, because
Which,
like I don't know what that show is, by the way. I saw a preview for it. Maybe it was during the Globes. There was like a preview for
uh
a
huh.
new episode, and I was like, what is this show? Is it just like everyone's just really pleasant to each other?
I think it's like a parenthood, brothers and sisters thing. Like the people that like those shows, I think it's like this is their new show,
Right, I get that. I
which I
hear
don't
that
even know what it is either. So,
it makes you cry. I think it's like different couples. I guess I don't know if they're like interconnected, but I know it's about different couples. And I guess Mandy Moore, like that Mandy Moore is in it.
hmm.
Um, but like whenever I see previews for it, it's like there doesn't look like there's any conflict in that show.
But
They're
people
just
seem
like,
to
I
cry
love you.
and
Look how much I'll sacrifice for you.
just melodrama to the extreme.
Yeah, seriously.
And then Atlanta won a bunch of stuff, which isn't that surprising, but it's pretty awesome to see. I haven't actually started that show yet, but
Me neither.
everyone says good things.
I have all of the episodes in my DVR and I have not watched them yet. And I keep meaning to, but instead I started like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I can't remember what else. I think I watched Catastrophe too. I
Hmm,
just like binged all of Catastrophe.
nice.
Yeah. Billy Bob Thornton for Goliath. Who watches Goliath? Now we know.
What is Goliath? I don't really know what it is.
It's it's a David E. Kelly show, and I only know this because Matt
Oh, he did tell
told
us.
us.
I totally
Yeah,
forgot. Yeah. Did not retain that information at all.
that seems like something Matt would just know. He's like, oh, it's a David E. Kelly series. I'm like, oh, I guess yeah. I mean, I guess it kind of looks like one, judging from the weird previews I've seen for it. I guess I haven't watched an actual trailer, but I've seen like the promo stuff, and I don't know. It just kind of looks like that other whatever that Judge series is with like Ron Perlman,
Oh yeah.
that Judge or whatever it's called.
The Amazon show. Yeah, I saw that pilot and yeah.
Yeah, I mean it just looks. I don't know who watches that. Besides like the
It's
Hollywood Foreign Press,
I don't
this like
know.
shady group of.
There are
anonymous
people out there.
journalists.
I think Amazon has like a weird audience somewhere out there. I don't know who they are, but I mean they rate it on Amazon and they write reviews, so someone's watching it.
Like, if you loved watching Billy Bob Thornton do some bad things in Fargo, check out Goliath. I guess. I don't know. I mean, I don't. I've heard literally no one talking about this show except for Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Atlanta winning was really cool. Yeah, I don't know that there were a whole lot of surprises.
Yeah.
I'm
Nothing
really
crazy.
happy with the People versus OJ Love.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of surprised that Tom Hiddleston won for The Night Manager,
Yeah.
which I still haven't watched, but I mean, I hear it's really good. Just a little surprised that it wasn't like Courtney B. Vance, and
Right, yeah.
absolutely no love for The Night Of, which is kind of sad.
I feel like sometimes the Golden Globes like to challenge the Emmys, and like if the Emmys gave it to one person, they're like, well, we're going to honor this person instead.
Right. Yeah.
So they're
To
like,
kind of
oh, People
balance things
VOJ
out.
swept Emmys, so like, let's give the Night Manager some love. Or I don't even know, was the Night Manager nominated for Emmys? I'm not sure if the timing, because sometimes it's like the weird timing where
Oh,
like
right. Yeah.
The Crown came out too late and Westworld started too late, so those are going to be eligible next year. So it's always a weird difference between the two.
Olivia Colman winning for The Night Manager is really great, though. I love her in everything so much, and I feel like sometimes she's undervalued. So to see her beat out Lena Headey and Tandy Newton, who I think gives one of the best TV performances of the past year,
Oh, so good.
is really great. And beating out two actresses from This Is Us. Sorry, that Mandy Moore.
I feel like that show's going to be on for like 5 seasons, though. It's one of
Mhm.
those ones that has like a dedicated fan base that's on forever. So like maybe it'll win, in a couple years.
Eventually. And then Hugh Laurie winning for The Night Manager. He's so charming.
Yeah.
What's not to like? What is this? He has some new show, I think, on Hulu
Oh
that's like
yeah.
House, but with paranormal stuff, maybe? I don't know.
I've seen the poster, and that's all I remember.
Something, or maybe it's like House, but with crime.
Yeah, maybe.
So, like, whatever I don't know, something policeman.
Policeman show starring Hugh Laurie.
Yes, that's it right there. I don't know. Hulu might be something that could be talked about next year. I mean, they have, what do they have? The Handmaid's Tale,
Mm,
this new Hugh Laurie show I don't know the name of. Maybe. I don't know. They weren't nominated for anything this year. The Path wasn't.
that's true.
11/22/63, which was so terrible.
Yeah,
I
they
only
didn't
made
get
it
any.
like 2.5 episodes in, and then I just couldn't take any more of James
Oh
Franco.
no, I don't blame you. Yeah, because it's a super long pilot, right?
It was like an hour and a half pilot, and then there's like 4 or 5 episodes out. I mean, it's not a long series. I love the book so much, and I was trying to overcome my James Franco phobia to watch it, and I just couldn't. I mean, in the first episode, he's wearing this like really terrible fake goatee that I can't.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. He makes some choices with a capital C. So like, yeah, I mean, surprises, not many. Other things we're happy about.
All I know is that I need to find out who to pay to get Viola Davis to read my obit because
Yes.
she is just phenomenal. And her introduction for Meryl was just like, I mean, I was like blown away before Meryl blew everyone else away. It was just like double back to back.
Seriously, I thought that Viola Davis gave like the performance of her career in Fences, but then she did that intro, which I didn't watch till like the next morning, but it was the first thing I watched, and it was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Can you just like give all of the speeches to everyone forever?
Yes, please.
I feel like maybe that's what we need is like every couple months or so, Viola Davis gives a speech on like they put it on YouTube or whatever, and she like reassures us and rallies us together and keeps us alive for the next 4 years.
Oh my God, yes. TED Talks with Viola Davis about
Yes.
survival.
Pep talks from TED Talks from Viola Davis.
Yes, please. And then Merrill just pops up, and then the two of them run in 2020, and then all is well.
Everything will be okay. Yeah, I don't know. She's incredible. That intro was incredible. Meryl's speech was incredible. The reaction faces to Meryl's
Ugh.
speech were incredible.
Yes.
Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn did not look like they were having any of it.
They did not, no.
And they like realize it's like they just realized where they were, like who they were surrounded by. They were
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, forgot." So that was really great. Yeah, a lot of good reaction shots. Not as fun as like watching Amy and Tina get drunk with everybody, but
Right.
Jason Schwartzman and Denzel Washington had some good faces.
Yeah, I was surprised there wasn't as many like planned viral things happening in the audience. Like Julia Louis didn't do anything this year. Like she wasn't smoking out of her e-cig as she usually does. But what is it? Rachel Bloom had like a little bit of a gag. She was like eating a sandwich when they cut to her for Best Actress.
Oh, that's cute.
So there's like little things here and there, but there wasn't as many like planned gags going on.
I really think that they should let them eat during the show because they clear the plates at like 4 something in the afternoon so that like we won't see them eating on TV.
Hmm.
But I really think that we should be able to watch them eat. I think that that would just automatically, even if they're not doing anything particular, like they're just eating, like watching famous people eat is really great.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, they really are just like us. So just like let us see them eat. And I think that that would add like easily 10% entertainment value to the show.
I would love that. And I want to know what they order because I'm sure they have an option. So, like, what did Ryan Gosling order and what did, Meryl Streep order?
They did have options. I saw a photo of the menu. Jen Yamato shared the photo.
Mm.
She was there, and she took a really great photo of the Stranger Things kids with Nicholas Coster-Waldau lurking in the back, or Nicolaj Coster-Waldau lurking in the background. That like totally went viral and was immediately turned into a meme.
Oh,
And he was
nice.
just like, cute kids would be a shame if something terrible happened to them. So, I mean, yeah, I guess there's not a whole lot of surprises. And if anything, I guess the biggest takeaway is like La La Land swept everything. So now does that mean La La Land is going to win all of the Oscars?
Right. Yeah, it won a record-breaking 7 Golden Globes, more than any movie has ever won at the Golden Globes, which, like, isn't that surprising for La La Land, but it's kind of also shocking that that's never happened before, I guess.
Who was the previous record holder?
Good question.
Prior to that Sunday, okay, the achievement was shared by the 1975 release One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which I guess I
Oh.
should know since I've been reading Angelica Houston's memoir.
Oh.
Yeah.
How many Golden Globes did that one win?
I think 6.
Ah.
She talks about the Globes, and she talks about, I actually just got past that part a couple chapters ago, and she talks about going to the Oscars with Jack Nicholson. I feel like because I'm reading this, I feel like I'm also on a first name basis with him now.
Oh, yeah. Jack and
He's
Britt.
just Jack.
I bet that La La Land was able to do that because it's a musical, so it got score and song. So that makes sense.
I feel like I'm maybe one of the more reasonable people when it comes to La La Land because I feel like there's a divide.
Hmm.
There's like either you love it or you're part of the backlash where you like hate it. And I feel like I'm in the middle where it's like I really enjoy it. I think it's quite nice. I think it's quite charming. I think it has like 1, maybe 2 really good songs. And I think the rest of it is, I mean, I think the rest of the music is like fine. I think the dancing's cute. I think, whatever. I mean, I don't know. Do I think it should win a bunch of Oscars? Like, no. But I don't know that its Golden Globe wins are like predicting that. Like I've seen enough times things that sweep the Globes or seem to be clear favorites at the Globes, and then the Oscars are like completely different.
Hmm. I mean,
Maybe because they watch the Globes and they're like, ugh,
yeah,
we just
gotta
realized how
fix that.
basic our taste is.
I
They
mean,
just like send out like memos.
I'm also in the middle as well. Like, I really like La La Land. I don't think it's worthy of all the backlash that people are saying against it. I don't think it's the best thing ever and deserves all the awards. I do think that its Golden Globe wins are pretty much worthy. Pretty much everything I agree with, minus screenplay. I definitely think that that's the weakest part of the movie to me, and that the Moonlight screenplay, the Manchester by the Sea screenplay are without a doubt much stronger.
Oh, yeah.
But like Chazelle for director, I mean, personally, I'd want Jenkins or Lonergan, but that's okay. I can see it. I can understand it. But I don't know if that predicts. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to predict the Oscars. I mean, I think there's a part of me that still thinks that it could win Best Picture just because it can just continue this sweep. But like, there's also an equal part of me that thinks Manchester or Moonlight maybe could take it. So it's kind of weird and unpredictable, but it could also just not surprise us at all and win everything.
I mean, I see a couple of options where it's like La La Land could take home something like Best Director, while Moonlight or Manchester gets all the other big awards,
Mm-hmm.
just so that they're recognizing La La Land as an achievement. And I also see it like, like it could win a bunch of big awards, and then we could look back 10 years from now and start seeing think pieces of like, remember that time La La Land won all these awards and it wasn't even that good? Like, it could be one of those movies. Like, I
Yeah,
mean, how many times have the Oscars given Best Picture to like some movie that was just like fine?
so many times.
Way too many times. I mean, didn't they give Best Picture to Crash?
Yes, they did.
No one watches Crash anymore. Who watched that again? Who was like, oh yeah, Crash is so great, and they like watch it like every year.
There's
There's
someone out
somebody.
there. There's someone who has it on like Blu-ray and watches it
Oh,
every year.
oh yeah. I mean, like that's always one of my favorite things to think about is like every movie is someone's favorite movie.
Yes, that's true. But
Like,
even if this wins, I don't know. If there is the argument that it's the worst movie ever, I can't really see that argument just because it's so I get that people hate it and can have backlash against it, but it takes a lot to resist liking it because it's just so easy to like to me. I think the music, it may not be great, but it's good. And
mhm.
the just the composition of the film visually is just so charming and so gorgeous that you can't really say it's a terrible movie because it's just so well put together, and the choreography, the dancing might not be great, the singing may not be great, but like this, I don't think it's going to have the same argument that people have with Crash, because Crash is just terrible anyway.
Garbage.
Yeah, Crash is trash.
Yeah. Erin Whitney, ScreenCrush. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that there are complaints to be made about La La Land. Is it the kind of stuff that should prevent it from being recognized for a silly award? Like, no, I don't think so. I mean, like I agree that, there is like a weird sort of, I don't know. I mean, like I hesitate to even criticize it for it because it doesn't feel malicious, but like sometimes like when ignorant things, like when you're not self-aware of your own ignorance, like that can almost be more offensive. So I can see why people are really angry at Damien Chazelle for making this movie where it's like about like this like white dude who like mansplains jazz and is trying to like save it, like this predominantly black music.
Hmm.
With this like history and black culture. Like I get it. Like, and I really like, MTV had a really good essay about that I really agreed with and helped me see like that perspective of it. Personally, like I'm not really offended by it. I don't really care about jazz either way, but like I get it. I don't I think like I mean my biggest problem with it is like there's some really horrible ADR in that movie.
Mm.
Like there's the shot where like they're walking across the studio lot and there's like this long shot and you see them talking and the way their mouths are moving does not match the ADR at all. And there's times when like Ryan Gosling's talking where like you look on screen and his mouth is not moving.
I don't remember that.
Like I saw it twice in the theater and this
Hmm.
like it was so glaring to me. And like meanwhile, people that I saw it with would complain that like I didn't understand the song lyrics. Like I had a hard time understanding what they were saying.
Huh.
And I didn't. Like I understood the song lyrics just fine. I think the mix is a little off,
Hmm.
but I think maybe part of that too is that when you go into a musical, you're expecting that like highly enunciated, very showy, like arch musical style. And
Yeah.
they're not singing in a traditional musical style.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, like these are all nitpicky things though, you know?
Right. And I think the reason that there's so much conversation is that, like, compared to last year when there wasn't really like a clear Best Picture winner, there's three really solid ones, or three really solid front runners right now. So of course it's going to be heated, and there's going to be a movie that everyone hates, and then movies that everyone stands behind. And right now it's La La Land, and then there are people behind Manchester by the Sea, but then there's not people behind Casey Affleck for understandable reasons. So there's lots of contention in lots of areas this year. So I think it just gives way to lots of debates.
What was it that Matt Jacobs tweeted? Was it yesterday about Natalie Portman and Hacksaw Ridge?
Yeah, so that was about the PGA nominations.
There it is.
Yeah, so the Producers Guild Association of America, is that the right name? Producers Guild of America.
Yes.
Named their nominations for the best 10 films of 2016 this week, and those were all pretty unsurprising ones, except Jackie wasn't named, and Deadpool was listed on there, and in its place there was so all of them was Arrival, Fences, Hell or High Water, Hacksaw Ridge, Hidden Figures, which is awesome to see that's on that list. Lion, and then of course La La Land, Moonlight, and Manchester.
No, like
But
where to even begin?
in response to what Matt Jacobs tweeted, that he thinks that Jackie's not going to be nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars, and that Hacksaw Ridge is going to take over. And like I'm kind of thinking the same now that it got a BAFTA nomination as well. Not that that's necessarily a predictor, but they're getting more and more nominations behind it. And then the PGAs, which in the last, I believe, 7 years, anywhere from 7 to 9 movies that the PGA nominated have made it into the Oscars Best Picture category. So all
Right.
of these could make it in. I think maybe not. What are the ones? I mean, hopefully not Deadpool. Although you never know. It's 2017. Everything's going to shit. So maybe Deadpool.
The whole world is wacky now.
Maybe it's actually our Oscar Best Picture winner. Who knows?
President-elects are rumored to be having people pee on them. I mean, the whole world's turned topsy-turvy. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, and I think that does bring up a really good point, though, that people usually, I think, like, on the surface, it's easy to look at the Golden Globes, like, right before the Oscars as, like, a predictor of anything. But usually I don't feel like they are. I don't feel like they're a good indicator of where the Oscars are going, because I feel like those two groups, if you look at what those two groups are, you have press and industry people. And those groups don't usually agree.
Right.
You have
That's
the people
why
that
it's probably so wacky
criticize.
every year. You never really. It's just the weirdest choices because it's these two unsuspecting groups. But when you actually have like people in the Producers Guild, Directors Guild, Writers Guild, that's more of an accurate, picture of who's voting for the Academy.
Definitely. And I mean, it's a bummer to think that Jackie won't be nominated for anything, or that even Natalie Portman wouldn't be nominated, which I would riot. Like, I will flip every table. I will go next door to neighbors' houses and then start walking into random restaurants and flipping tables until someone fixes it.
Part of me wants this to happen just to see you do this.
I'll just like get like a GoPro and I'll do it. But I mean, like this thing with like, what is this weird, like people can be upset about La La Land, but I think like my sticking point, or two sticking points this season, are like Hell or High Water and Hacksaw Ridge, which like Hell or High Water, I'm willing to give more of a pass because it is an actually, like, I did enjoy watching it. It's not a bad movie. I just feel like it's not that strong of a movie.
There are stronger films this year that aren't in the Oscar conversation that
Incredibly
like Loving,
strong.
which was in this conversation a couple months ago and now is nowhere to be seen except for Ruth Negga.
Well, I mean, I would probably disagree on Loving, since I only
Really?
made like 30 or 40 minutes into it and found it incredibly bland and boring
It
and
is
lifeless.
super slow, yeah.
I was like, nothing's happening. um, I guess these people are pleasant. It's whatever. But Hell or High Water is just so weird to me. I think people are giving it more credit than they should, maybe because it's like the perfect combination of actors and screenwriter. I don't know. I just don't think it's that great. But like Hacksaw Ridge, hell no. What movie did people see that I didn't see? Like, I know that we all see something different when we watch things. I'm very aware of what I'm asking. Like, but what was it that people saw in this movie?
If anything, the one thing I'll give credit to for this movie is the action sequence, which is like
Yes.
a million years long and just like painstakingly violent and to like a masturbatory degree. Like, it's just like Mel Gibson watching bodies lit on fire and get shot for 15 minutes and just like jerking off to it and loving it, which like fine, some people like that. And like I will say that it's very well directed and it's very tense, and if anything, like I can understand people getting behind that scene, but yeah, the rest of the movie, the performances are just like cringeworthy. The ending is just, oh my god, it's so bad.
You know, it's weird when like Vince Vaughn is your most restrained, solid actor in that cast.
Yeah, he's probably the best actor in it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super weird. Like, he's really good. Andrew Garfield is a caricature of a hillbilly. Like, I don't know. It's like, it's really weird because what makes it worse is that at the end of the movie, when they play the footage of the real Desmond Doss, he is not nearly as like Southern sounding. I mean, I don't really know how else to describe that drawl. Like, he does not sound nearly as cartoony as Andrew Garfield makes him sound. And I think it kind of does the character a disservice. Like, even, fictionally or in real life, like you're just really making a caricature of this real human being. And like, I think that he focused on his accent like way too much, that he should have pulled that back a little bit and let the story and the actions speak for themselves, but he didn't. I don't know. And I think that's also maybe Mel Gibson's to blame because he's so damn heavy-handed. Like, we get it, dude. You like whenever people like are martyrs and it's violent and bloody.
Does he? Really?
I don't know. I'm sure he's really enjoying this new presidency already.
Oh, yeah,
He's just
probably.
like, hell yeah. Yeah,
But
I don't know.
The
It's
other
not
thing that
like-
shocks me about Hacksaw Ridge is how many nominations Andrew Garfield's getting for that and not Silence. I mean, Silence has been snubbed from like every single awards almost. It's just, that to me is just shocking.
I still haven't seen Silence.
Mhm.
They finally gave us a press screening, like I think a week or so ago, and I didn't go because it was at a really bad theater. So I guess, I mean, I'm gonna try to see it sometime in the next couple weeks. But yeah, I still, even then, even not having seen Silence, like I cannot believe that of the two Andrew Garfield films this year, you're gonna nominate him for playing Goofy,
Yeah.
like
I wonder,
Goofy the cartoon character.
I wonder what the reason is behind that. I mean, I wonder if did they drop it too late and it was too much of a surprise release that, I mean, people got award screeners, so it's not an issue of not seeing it, but it's so surprising to me that this huge Scorsese epic that people have been talking about for so long is just getting ignored by the groups that you'd think would really want to get behind it.
They had tons of screenings for those groups in New York, Los Angeles, Chicago. They had a bunch of silent screenings at the like local screening rooms for like PGA members, for DGA members, for members of the Academy. Like those people all had a chance to see it. Like, and this was back in like November, beginning of
Maybe it's
December.
The way it handles religion is just people don't agree with it as much as the end of Hacksaw Ridge, where Andrew Garfield is turned into a Jesus figure.
But they love Passion of the Christ. I don't
Right.
understand. Maybe they just really love Mel Gibson.
Maybe.
Maybe they're all just like rooting for him. Maybe this is like a Tyra thing. Like, we were rooting for you. We're all rooting for you. I don't know why. Like, why Mel Gibson?
There's just
Why?
plenty of other directors this year that deserve that spotlight.
Scorsese never hurt a woman, as far as we know.
As far as we know, yeah.
He's never said anything racist and terrible, as far as we know. I would like to believe that. I mean, he just seems like such a good guy. Like, I don't understand. Like, give the good guys the awards. Stop giving awards to people who do bad things and like validating, like, oh, I can do horrible things, but still get away with it because I got the shiny award to prove it.
There was a tweet I saw today, and it was a picture of Casey Affleck, Trump, Chris Brown, Roman Polanski, and Woody Allen all holding
Yeah.
awards. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
And
it's like,
I don't remember what the tweet said, but it was, you get the picture.
yeah, definitely. Like, they can just do whatever they want because they have money and fame, and we'll just keep awarding them for their crappy behavior. I don't know. It's one of the more baffling things, but I can't pretend to be surprised by anything anymore. Like, we're living in a post November 8th, 2016 America. I am literally out of surprise.
Yeah. So if Hacksaw Ridge wins Best Picture,
I guess it would
Who
just make
knows?
sense now. Maybe the Academy's like, you know what? We got to get in line for this new administration and show them that we're cooperative.
oh God, stop now.
I know, it's so terrible. On that note,
Are there any other Oscar predictions or changes in your Oscar predictions since we last spoke?
no. And I don't think I'm ever really good at predicting Oscar stuff because I'm always just kind of going with like what I want to win instead of doing like what you're supposed to do, which is predict what actually will win. And I honestly have no freaking idea. I mean, they've already made some weird choices with their foreign category. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, like The Handmaidens didn't even make it. Like, what?
Well, they
It
didn't
wasn't
submit
even.
it. Yeah. But still,
Yeah.
put it up there and nominate it for Best Picture.
Yeah, I mean, there's still. I'm not very hopeful about that, but I
no, I'm
mean,
just saying in my dream world.
yeah, in our dream world, I don't
feel
know.
like I didn't previously think Arrival would get in for a Best Picture nomination, but I feel like if there are more than 5 that it'll probably get nominated, which is great.
I
love
can agree
Arrival.
with that. I don't know. I don't really have any at this point. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if like Nocturnal Animals just gets like a crap load of nominations and Aaron Taylor Johnson wins an Oscar, and then we know that the end truly is nigh.
On that
don't know.
dark, dark, dark note, I don't have anything positive to add to it.
Nope, neither do I. Anyway,
Just accept
thanks for
it.
joining us. We'll be back with the Oscar nominations.
Thanks for listening. The next episode of And the Podcast Goes To will come out on Thursday, January 26th, just a couple of days after the Academy announces their Oscar nominations. For more of the latest movie and TV news, head to ScreenCrush.com. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on Instagram and Snapchat at the username ScreenCrush.